interracial relationships, interracial marriage. Here we go. Tony's Topics. Like it, subscribe, don't be struns. Okay, so you want to get into an interracial relationship, or you were in one, are in one, thinking about getting in one. I've been in multiple through the decades. Black, Hispanic, Asian. I was in an interracial marriage. I'm the expert, so shut up, sit down, and listen. All right, so, look, interracial relationships are a beautiful thing. I think everyone should be free to marry and date and be with whoever they want, you know, especially, hey, we're in America, baby. And on paper, it should work out seamlessly. And I have to say, I've had a few really great interracial relationships that I'm blessed that I had that experience. But I think, so on paper, it all makes sense. Hey, it doesn't matter, you know, you're Asian, you're black, you're white, you're Middle Eastern, blah, blah, blah. Everyone just, you know, all blood is red. All blood is red. That's true. But then there is the reality of things. And so, you know, there's a reason whites marry whites, blacks marry blacks, Asians marry Asians, and Hispanics marry Hispanics, Middle Eastern marry Middle, you know, and so on and so forth. It's not opposites attract. It's birds of a feather flock together. You know, so, and I get it. You know someone in an interracial marriage or relationship, so was I. So if you're thinking about getting involved in one, and you have to think of a few things. You, open-minded is obviously, right? It goes without saying, you have to be open-minded. But it's more than that. You have to make sure that, well, your friends, your family, are they open-minded? Now you may say, well, fuck them. Well, okay, well, you're going to get tested. You'll get your opportunity to say fuck them. Now for me, I was, lucky that my friends, my family, they are open-minded. So I never had an issue with me dating black, Hispanic, Asian. It wasn't an issue. But I'm also a type of person that if it was an issue, I'll tell my parents and my family in a polite way to, you know, lose it. Which they're cool, you know what I'm saying? But if you're going to get into an interracial relationship, be prepared. You might have to write a few people off. And it might be your mom and dad or your brother, your sister, your cousin, you know. So anyways, and that's if it's like anyone. If there's a black person and a Asian person, or, you know, Hispanic and black, you know what I mean? It goes each way. Never mind white people. But yeah, so open-minded. You got to be open-minded. Yeah, you have to you have to be a curious person. Like you have to be curious about culture and music and religion and you know, because yeah, it's going to be different, you know, and you know, you have to like that. You have to want that. And if you like that, that's cool. But it can be a hurdle depending. Like, I'm Italian. I grew up, my family are immigrants from Italy, not just like Italian American, but like sono italiano, like real deal. And you know, when I was with certain other cultures and races that are more conservative in their greetings and more quiet, if you will, you know, like that's not the Italian way. You know, Italians, hey, oh, come on, hey, oh, it's always a scene. You know, some cultures don't like that. So you have to be cognizant of that. You have to be like, maybe kind of be quiet when you're around the other side of the family or other boyfriend or girlfriend. You know, are you okay with that? You know, or you might have a culture that's whatever, you know, different. So you can't push your culture on somebody and they can't push it on you. And you have to be willing to celebrate that. And that's just one thing. I mean, it could be, you know, anything. Food. You know, food's a big one. You know, like, I love all types of foods for the most part. But if you're, you know, I don't know, a white guy and you're going to marry, or you're dating a Mexican girl, hello, if you don't like Mexican food, that's a big problem. You know, or if you're a Mexican dating a Japanese person and the Mexican doesn't like sushi, or anything to do with Japanese cuisine, it's a problem. So, and kind of religion gets intertwined in that. So you gotta really be open-minded, willing to not lose yourself, but see it as an addition. So we're gonna be Italian and whatever, Italian and Turkish, or Scottish and Chinese. Like it takes both. You have to kind of be easygoing in that respect. So that's something that you have to really think about. The other thing too, and this is not like a big, well, it's kind of a big deal if you don't know how to cross the street. In Jersey, you take your life when you cross the street. Oh my Lord. All right, we're crossing the street. Hold my hand, everybody. We're going to cross the street in Jersey. It's going to be a shit show. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So, when you are going out, you may hear people say stupid shit, Like I had a Chinese girlfriend many years ago. And some black dudes were like in the city, and they were talking shit like to my Chinese girlfriend, like racial slurs and shit, you know what I mean? And it's like, here we go, and hate to say it, but racism goes every which way. It's not just a white thing. It could be, and I've experienced it. So it's wrong. It doesn't matter who is saying it or doing it. But yeah, so, these are the things you're gonna have to watch out for, and hear people say sly remarks on the downloads. Like, what? Not to say it happens all the time, but also, like, I've noticed, like, dress. I came from the Italian background, Italy. Now we're talking about Italy, where dress code is relatively conservative, and I dated some women from other cultures that, showing half their booty and the breast popping out, like that's just how they dress in that particular culture. And they're not hoochie mamas, they're not promiscuous, they dress like that. That's a cultural thing in certain countries. I'm not gonna say the countries, but anyways, and I was like, I'm not too comfortable with that, but I can't tell her, hey, cover up. I'm not her God, like, hey, you're an adult, I'm an adult. I have to accept that. That's how you are in your culture and your dress, and you got it all hanging out. I mean, I could say something, but you know what I'm saying? I have to accept this person how they are. So it's, I remember dating one girl, and every time we would have dinner, after dinner, we had to crank the salsa and merengue up, and we would dance, like the whole damn family. And I'm like, oh shit, like I've never experienced that before. I thought that was so cool, but you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So like different cultures, different ways, and especially if it's obvious, like if you're white and black, people are gonna be looking, you know what I mean? Or you're Asian and black, or if it's a visual striking difference, if you're Indian and Mexican couple, people might not really, so you gotta be confident in who you are, you know what I mean? You gotta be confident because society will test you. And that's in New York City and Miami and Boston. Imagine going out from the city and you're in an interracial marriage, interracial union. Yeah. It's just different. So, but yeah, I mean, who you love is who you love. And if it works out, you're open-minded. Yeah, it's at the same time, it's just like anything else. We have differences, but most people, most cultures, we're the same. We want love, we want success, we want family, we want loyalty. So these are the things that bond us. And so, yeah, but if you're someone that is curious and you like learning and you're open-minded and you're patient, interracial dating and unions and marriage could be a great thing for you. But yeah, it helps if the family and friends are on board, and if they're not, you better be a strong person because yeah, you're gonna catch some heat. But you have to forgive those people because they're ignorant, they're scared, and you know, people don't like change. But anyway, so I think it can be a beautiful thing, again, if you're, like I said before, open-minded and you're curious and you're willing to stand up for yourself and stand up for your man or woman, and not in a vicious way, but just, you know, yeah. So because too, like, religion can kind of seep into that too, and that sometimes can be even a harder pill to swallow. But and you know, it's funny because when I was with some women who were of a different race, I'm not to say the race, their parents were prejudiced against me, the white guy. I'm like, hey, wait a second, that's our job. White people are supposed to be racist. How come this other culture is racist? You know, so racism and prejudice is based in fear. You know, so I didn't hold it against my then ladies' parents. I was like, I know they're afraid, you know, so I didn't take it as they're racist and evil, you know. But I was just like, I wound up winning them over anyways, you know, because they saw I was a good person, you know. And I think you have to be patient too, you know, when you're in an interracial union or dating. So anyways, what do you guys think? I mean, have you been in an interracial marriage or dating or union, and how did it work out for you? What do you guys think? Put it in the comment section below. Tony's Topics. Big shout out to all the interracial couples out there. Good on you.